Pfizer and partner biotech announcing that it will request emergency use authorization from the FDA today for its COVID-19 vaccine, the first vaccine in the race for a cure to apply for emergency use. Now, if approved, some Americans could get their first dose in about a month. Let's discuss with University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics CEO Suresh Gunaskaran. And Suresh, good to have you on a day. This vaccine certainly could not come soon enough for Iowa, third highest infection rate in the nation. As the head of the largest hospital operator in that state, how are you planning for the eventual arrival of the vaccine, the cold storage uses that you will need, but also trying to sort of solve this crisis that is unfolding in your state right now?
Sure. Great to be with you. We've been preparing for the vaccine for months, actually. Here at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, we were actually one of the partners to Pfizer in offering clinical trials here in Iowa. But months ago, we placed in orders for large-scale freezers that have the ability to store the vaccine between -60 and -80 degrees Celsius. We know we've worked on multiple protocols internally to make sure that we can deploy the vaccine to essential healthcare workers who will likely be the first set of eligible participants. And then we know that in Iowa, not all healthcare systems, particularly in rural settings, will be able to take advantage of this. And so we have been working with the state health department to make sure that we follow CDC guidelines, but also partner with other organizations across the state to make sure that we can get the vaccine deployed to those that are high priority for it as quickly as possible.
And with Thanksgiving around the corner, how critical could the next week be? Families across the nation trying to make this big decision. Should they travel to see some family in a small gathering, host a small Thanksgiving dinner, or should they stay at home?
I think that for this season, staying at home is probably the best decision. Each family is going to have to make that on a personal basis. But ultimately, what we see right now is that it's not one region of the United States that is high for infection. And when if each individual person has a 1 or 2% chance based on the general positivity of their community, when you get 10 to 15 people together, the risk pretty much goes up to 30-40% chance that someone in that gathering could be positive. And I really think that this season, it would make a lot of sense for families to make a different decision and perhaps postpone gathering till the spring.
In terms of hospital capacity, the ability to absorb this surge in cases and hospitalizations, and have you learned anything, and what have you learned, I guess, from prior experiences in other parts of the country with their own surges?
It's a really good question. We've learned a lot, and what we've learned is make the hospital bed capacity available before the surge in patients gets to you. So here at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, we actually activated a surge plan 2 weeks ago to increase our ICU beds and increase the staff that are available to do this. We moved them from other parts of the organization. We reduced some elective surgeries, reduced some of our procedures and clinic visits in order to have the staff in the appropriate configuration. So when we saw the number of COVID patients in our hospital double, we actually were ready for it. And that's the first phase of a 3-phase surge plan that we've worked on. And next week, we might need to activate the next level of it. We're hoping that we can avoid that. The other piece of it is also Iowa. Most of our hospitals work together, and many, when they reach their capacity, will transfer patients to the university. And so we've been working regionally with cooperation from the governor's office, with cooperation from other major hospital systems in the state, to see how we can coordinate between hospitals so no individual hospital gets overwhelmed. So a lot of planning that we did this summer that we really hoped that we wouldn't use is really now coming into play.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.